Solitude builds strength in ways the crowd never could. Being alone isn't a sign of weakness. It's weight training for your soul. In those quiet moments, when it's just you and your thoughts, the real transformation begins. No distractions, no approval, no validation. Just raw, unfiltered you. That's where strength takes root, because it's easy to feel strong when you're surrounded by support. But when the applause fades and the room empties, can you still believe in yourself? That's the test. That's where the foundation is laid. Solitude demands that you meet yourself with honesty, no performances, no pretending. It strips away the noise and forces you to confront who you really are. Your fears, your flaws, your truth. And the beauty in that discomfort is that it makes you stronger. You begin to trust yourself more. You learn to rely on the voice inside instead of waiting for someone to guide you. You become the leader you were looking for. There's a clarity in solitude that crowds will never give you, and that clarity becomes your compass. The world teaches us to fear being alone, to think that solitude is something to escape. But it's not a punishment. It's preparation. It's refinement. Just like iron is forged in fire, strength is forged in silence. When you spend time with your thoughts, your goals, your vision, you start seeing yourself not just for who you are, but who you can become. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need the entire blueprint laid in front of you. You just need the courage to take the first step, even if it's shaky, even if it's silent. That first step. It's not about confidence, it's about commitment. It's saying, I may not know what's ahead, but I trust myself enough to begin. And every step after that gets lighter, not because the path gets easier, but because you get stronger. You become more grounded, more resilient, more sure of yourself, even in the face of uncertainty. Being strong alone doesn't mean you don't need anyone. It means you're not dependent on anyone for your sense of worth or direction. It means when everything else is stripped away, your foundation still holds. That strength becomes your power, your peace, your anchor. So the next time you find yourself walking alone, don't rush to fill the silence. Sit with it, listen to it, grow in it, because that space, that solitude, that's where champions are born. That's where purpose is sharpened, and that's where you begin to realize you were never alone. You were just being molded, you were just getting ready, you were just taking the first step toward everything meant for you. Stand when no one claps, that's where real strength is proven. It's easy to feel worthy when the room is full of cheers. It's easy to feel seen when hands are clapping and eyes are watching. But what happens when the room is silent? What happens when you give your all and no one notices? That's when your character speaks louder than the crowd. That's when your value isn't based on noise but on knowing. Knowing that you're enough even when the world forgets to applaud. Don't wait for applause to validate your value. If you only rise when someone's watching, then what you're doing isn't purpose, it's performance. Real growth happens in the shadows, not under the spotlight. Real work happens when you keep going despite the silence, despite the lack of recognition, because that's when you find out what you're really made of. You weren't built to entertain, you were built to endure. You were built to create, to rise, to walk forward even when the world turns its back. Validation is a trap. The longer you wait for it, the longer you delay your progress. You can't let someone else's silence shrink your calling. You weren't put here to please them. You were put here to fulfill something deeper, something divine, and the truth is, not everyone will see your worth right away. Some people are blind to greatness until the crowd tells them it's safe to cheer. But if you wait for their signal, you'll miss your moment. You don't need a standing ovation to stand tall. You don't need a pat on the back to keep moving forward. You need heart. You need grit. You need a fire inside that burns no matter how cold the world gets. Keep doing the work. Keep showing up. Keep building, because one day the same people who stayed silent will be the ones asking how you did it. And you'll smile, not out of pride, but out of peace, because you'll know that you didn't need their applause. You only needed your own permission. Every big dream begins in quiet places. Every legacy starts without claps, without cameras, without credit. But that's okay. That's not the end, it's the beginning. Take the first step, even if no one's watching, even if no one believes, even if the crowd is still deciding whether you're worth the noise. Move anyway. Build anyway, rise anyway. That's where the real power lies, not in the sound of applause, but in the strength to keep going without it. You don't have to see the whole staircase. You don't have to hear the claps. Just take the first step. Take it with your head high and your heart full, because standing when no one claps, that's when you stop performing and start becoming. Silence sharpens the spirit. In the quiet, there's no noise to distract you, no voices to sway you, no masks to wear. It's just you, raw, real, and unfiltered, and for some, that's a scary place to be. Because in that stillness, you're forced to face the version of yourself that the world doesn't see, the one who doubts. The one who dreams, the one who's been buried under expectations, applause, and opinions. But here's the truth, that real you, the one that rises in the silence, is enough. Too often, we chase noise to feel alive. We fill our days with distractions, our minds with opinions, our time with people who don't pour into us. Why? Because silence feels empty, but silence isn't empty. It's honest. It's the space where lies lose their grip and clarity begin. It's the pause between chaos and purpose, and it's where strength begins to grow. Not the loud attention-seeking kind of strength, but the kind that doesn't flinch under pressure, the kind that knows its worth without needing to prove it. In silence, your spirit sharpens. You hear what you've been ignoring. You feel what you've been avoiding. You remember who you were before life told you who to be, and that remembering, that reconnection, it's powerful, it's grounding, because when you're alone with yourself and still feel full, still feel whole, still feel enough, that's freedom, that's peace, that's power. The world may tell you to hustle louder, speak up, get noticed. But sometimes the strongest move is to retreat into the quiet, not to escape, but to align, not to hide, but to heal. Silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the reset your soul needs before the next move. And in that stillness, you realize something profound. You don't need the staircase to be fully lit. You don't need the answers, the guarantees, or the crowd. You just need to take the first step with clarity, with courage, with conviction born in the silence, because the voice that comes from the quiet isn't just any voice, it's your voice, and that voice, when trusted, will carry you farther than any applause ever could. It will remind you who you are when the world forgets. It will speak truth when everything around you screams doubt. And it will whisper, even in the dark, keep going, you've got this. So don't fear the silence. Embrace it, let it stretch you, let it cleanse you, let it sharpen your spirit until your walk becomes lighter and your steps more sure. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Take it out of the noise, take it in the stillness, because in the quiet you meet the real you, and the real you is more than enough. People leave, and that's a fact of life. Some walk out without warning, some drift away slowly, and some were never meant to stay. But no matter how they leave, don't chase, don't beg. Let those who exit, exit. Not everyone is meant to go the whole way with you. Some people are chapters, not the whole story. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop tying your purpose to people who are only ever passing through. See, purpose isn't dependent on company. It doesn't shrink because someone walked away. It doesn't dissolve because the room got quiet. Purpose is rooted deeper than relationships. It's not carried by applause or company. It's carried by conviction. And when you've got real purpose, you don't panic when people disappear. You stand anyway, you rise anyway, you walk anyway, because what you're walking toward doesn't require a crowd, it requires courage. Don't mistake their absence for a sign to stop. Some exits are actually elevation. When people leave, they make room for clarity, they make room for peace, they make room for growth. And most of all, they make room for you to hear your own voice again, the one that's been drowned out by noise and need. Purpose doesn't need validation. It doesn't need co-signers. It just needs movement. Even if that movement is quiet, even if it's lonely, even if you're walking with no one but your faith. The truth is, some people can't handle your vision. Some people will clap for your dream only as long as it doesn't stretch beyond their comfort. But when your growth makes them uncomfortable, they'll find the door. And that's okay, let them, because your purpose was never built to be understood by everyone. It's not fragile. It doesn't crumble because they left. If anything, it gets stronger when you realize it's still alive without them. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step, and if that first step feels lonely, that's all right. If that first step costs you connections, let it, because the destination is worth more than the distractions. Purpose doesn't always walk beside you. It walks ahead of you, calling you forward, and not everyone has the ears to hear that call. But you do, you feel it, deep in your bones, that whisper saying, keep going, that fire saying, this is bigger than you. So don't let departures delay your destiny. Don't let silence make you second. Guess your strength. You were chosen for this. You were made for this. Let the crowd come and go. Let the applause rise and fall, but let your purpose stand, unchanged, unmoved, unwavering, because people may leave, but purpose stays. And that's all you ever needed. Not lonely, just focused. That's the mindset of someone who understands the difference between being alone and being aligned. This world will try to confuse the two, tell you that if you're not surrounded by constant chatter, you must be missing something. But solitude isn't a lack, it's a decision. It's not about isolation, it's about intention. Choosing peace over noise is a bold move in a world that thrives on distraction. But in that silence, in that space of separation, you find your center. Being focused means letting go of the chaos that doesn't serve you. It means turning down the volume on voices that don't build you. It's recognizing that not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every conversation deserves your energy. When you're focused, you don't crave the crowd. You crave clarity, and clarity doesn't come from noise. It comes from the stillness, the kind of stillness where vision grows and distractions die. It's in those quiet nights when your phone isn't buzzing and the room is still that your next level reveals itself. Not because someone hyped you up, but because you finally heard yourself think. That's where focus becomes fuel. That's where dreams turn into blueprints. And that's when you realize that being alone isn't lonely. It's sacred, it's powerful, it's necessary. Focus requires sacrifice. It means saying no to good so you can say yes to great. It means missing out on the temporary so you can build something that lasts. It means stepping away from the noise not because you don't belong, but because you're building something bigger than what noise can offer. Distractions are expensive and your purpose can't afford them. So don't let anyone shame you for choosing your path. Don't let their confusion shake your conviction. You're not withdrawing, you're preparing. You're not lost, you're locked in. There's a difference between being left out and stepping out on purpose. You chose the latter, and there's strength in that. You don't have to explain your silence. You don't have to defend your distance. Let people think what they want. Let them wonder, because while they talk, you're transforming. While they post, you're progressing. While they run in circles, you're moving forward. Quietly, steadily, powerfully. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. and that first step may look like solitude. It may look like cutting off the noise, tuning into your vision, and trusting that peace is a better companion than popularity. Keep walking, keep building, keep becoming, because not lonely, just focused. That's the kind of energy that changes everything. If you can't hold yourself up, who will? That's a question life will ask you, not with words, but with moments. Moments when the support you counted on disappears, when the people who said they'd always be there suddenly aren't, when the safety nets vanish and the fallback plans fail. In those moments you learn the truth: the world won't always catch you. So you better learn how to land on your own 2 feet. It's not about being cold, it's about being ready, ready to carry your own weight, ready to stand even if your legs are shaking, because there will be times when no one reaches for you. When the call goes unanswered, when the encouragement doesn't come, that's when your strength has to speak for itself. That's when discipline steps in, when resilience rises, when you realize that leaning on yourself is not a last resort. It's the foundation you should have built from the beginning. No one is coming to save you every time you fall, and they shouldn't have to. That doesn't mean you can't accept help. It means you don't depend on it to move. You don't wait for rescue before you rise. Because life moves fast, and if you don't learn how to push yourself up off the floor, you'll stay there stuck, bitter, waiting, and time won't wait with you. Holding yourself up means learning how to speak life when all you hear is doubt. It means getting up when no one's watching, grinding when no one's cheering. It means becoming so grounded in who you are that even when everything around you shakes, you remain steady. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being anchored, knowing that while you may bend, you won't break. While you may fall, you won't stay down. The most dangerous thing you can do is give someone else the power to hold you together. Because when they drop you, intentionally or not, you're left shattered, unsure how to rebuild. But when you build yourself piece by piece, day by day, choice by choice, you learn how to be your own foundation. That kind of strength, that's unshakable, that's the kind of strength that carries not only your future, but your faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step, and maybe that step is shaky, maybe it's lonely, maybe you're still figuring it out as you go. That's okay. The first step isn't about perfection. It's about permission. Permission to rise, permission to grow, permission to carry yourself. So no more waiting on someone to pick you up. No more hoping someone else believes before you do. Stand up, even if it's slow, even if it's hard, because if you can't hold yourself up, who will? And once you learn how to stand alone, you'll never fear falling again.